Legacy. I told you we're going to talk about legacy. I had the opportunity to really focus on my legacy about 1.5 years ago, when I got the news that my wife and I were having our first child. I had a little girl named Madeline. She's a boss now, right? But that being said, as Paul said, I had a great career in corporate America. Prior to that, I was with Governor Granholm's administration as her Deputy Director for Legislative Affairs. And I had to really weigh, now that I had a daughter, how could I expect her to have the courage to follow her dreams and passions as her dad if I didn't have the courage to follow mine? So I had to really weigh that. I had to weigh leaving corporate America, great salary, company car, travel expense account, a national travel schedule, but yet I had a little spiritual tank. And I had to compare that with returning to my roots as a motivational speaker, becoming an author, and now I'm working on my second book, and also becoming a consultant. I had to make a decision of what my legacy was going to be. And I think you ladies need to think about that just as well. Now, I went on to start the Huddleston Consulting Group. And you'll see more information about that going forward. And I use my background as a person in business with a Fortune 1 corporation, my passion in work in politics, as well as my passion and love for sports. Muhammad Ali is the only person I'll ever rub my head like that. She just happened to be. But I used all those things to write my first book, which is what you guys are going to get a copy of later on. The Unlikely Saviors, realizing the positive impact athletes can have on society through philanthropy. Now, the idea came when I was at the Michigan High School Athletic Basketball Championship. I was up there at East Lansing at Michigan State, and the swagger that these high school players had was that of like NBA swagger. And I sat down, and there was a group of guys behind me, a real diverse group of men, and they knew everything about the players. Knew where they were going to school at, knew things about their family. And at the time, I was in corporate America, and I said, wow, I had some $3 million in foundation dollars. And I said, these young athletes had access to the money I had, they can make a great amount of impact. The reality is this, ladies, when I was at East Lansing, after I saw you guys, the same thing happened. When you guys were playing at Forest Acres, and you were on the 3rd hole, which is one of my favorite holes, and I stood out there in the rainy, wet weather, watching you guys, people came up and they knew things about you guys too. These are adults. Knew things about what you guys are going to be doing, where you're going to school at, what your history was. They knew all those things, and these were perfect strangers. The reality is this, ladies, you all have a platform, and you are the circle of influence. People are looking up to you, whether it's people on your team, people in your family, other students at the school going forward. And the reality is going forward, you can do so much with that. Now, here's Christy Kerr, LPGA player, won 2 major championships, and she has a wonderful cause called Birdies for Breast Cancer. Her life is impacted by breast cancer because of her mother getting cancer. So what she does is every time she gets a birdie, there's a donation of $50 to breast cancer awareness and research. So she's using her platform for that. I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Now, when I was coming to speak to you guys, I said, what are some golf acronyms that we hear a lot? And the first one that came to mind was gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Well, it makes no sense because obviously you guys being here shows that that's not the case. But I thought about a special one just for you ladies. And I came up with that. And it was golf, giving others love forever. That is what you can do with this game that you play so well. The reality is that this, in my view, is the most inclusive yet exclusive sport. And what I mean by that is golf, the USGA would tell you that it's not as expensive as people may think. The average green fee is $25, which is pretty affordable. Now that's pretty inclusive, meaning everyone can play. The exclusive part is not just about being able to come to a beautiful country club like Oak Point, even though when I looked out and I saw the boat slips, I said that's pretty exclusive for a country club. But at any rate, the exclusive part is this, ladies. No one can do what you do in the sense of standing on a tee box, whether it's bad weather, all these people around, hitting a strong, straight shot, straight down the fairway, and marching up and playing for par or birdie. That's very exclusive as far as what you guys can do with this sport. And what I want to suggest to you is you really need to use that to promote charity going forward. Blessings in the backpack. You guys have already had that experience of what it is to help someone else. Now, just know that with golf, golf is rated as the #1 fundraising opportunity in the world. More money has been raised through fundraising through golf. So what you'll find in your careers going forward, that when your colleagues, your coworkers, and other people find out that you're great golfers, everybody's going to want you in their foursome, right? Everybody's going to want you to be a part of their golf outing, and that's a great opportunity for you to increase your own personal opportunity. Take advantage of that. But don't just use golf to promote yourself. Like I said, use this opportunity to help that young lady who has low self-esteem, who needs to build her self-esteem. Help her know that you can show her how to hit that tee shot too, so she can do it with a gallery full and be successful. Help show the principles of golf to a young man, teaching integrity and honor, and pass that along. And don't just use golf for yourself, but use it to promote philanthropy to the next generation. Now, you all get a copy of my book this evening, and in there I have the 10 steps to becoming a philanthropist. And it talks about how you can use social media. I got a feeling you guys use social media, right? Just a little bit, yeah, right. Social media, as well as your family structure, your network, your school, your church, and all these different entities to promote charity. Now, that blessings in the backpack is a wonderful thing, but I want you to think about another thing too. What things are close to your heart? What are your personal passions? And these are things that you can carry on for the rest of your days. Let me tell you my golf story. What started out as me wanting to help others turned into the Huddleston Hole-in-One charity golf outing. A couple years ago, I wanted to get together with my guys for my birthday and play a little golf. And I said, okay, we can do something good. After we play golf, let's just try to put some money together and write a check to a great charity. At the time, I was involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters in Detroit. So I called Dara Munson, my friend, the president there. I said, hey, we're going to play some golf. When we're done, we're going to send you guys a check. He said, well, Lindsay, actually, Arby's had been our partner, and they backed out. So we'll give you our golf outing. So I went from having a little mom and pop get together to a corporate golf outing overnight. Ladies, we raised $10,000. Yeah, it blew me away. I was surprised. But what started out as me trying to help others led to a wonderful thing. That's former NFL Hall of Famer, Mr. Charlie Sanders. He came out. We had a relationship based on my work in politics and in corporate America. I was able to help him with his foundation. So he was happy to come out and lend a helping hand and share some great things, and that was wonderful. And this is the point I want to make, ladies. The world will make a way for you when you're helping others. Coach Parcels told the story about me being the guy from the gas station, which is true, but what he didn't know about it was what happened 15 minutes before we met. I was coming out of my home and someone rolled past and flashed a bright light in my face. They said, don't follow the light, don't follow the light, right? And I said, I figured somebody was lost, and it was true. So when I pulled up to the guy's car, I looked at him, he had a hat on. It said Forest Acres Golf. I'm like, okay, I love Forest Acres, and let me help this guy out. Knowing that I was on my way to the gym to play some basketball with friends. Had I left, then I could have been on time, played with the people I normally play with, and everything would have been great. However, I said I want to help the guy out because I know how challenging it can be to navigate the complex we were living in. So I helped him out about 10 minutes past, and then of course, the fateful day I met you guys, right? I pull up for my normal Gatorade and all that stuff before I go in, and of course I saw you, and when the coach said they're playing at Forest Acres, I said, wow, that's just the theme that's going to be continued. My point being is this: had I not been willing to help someone else, I wouldn't even be here talking to you guys tonight. The reality is that although you don't do it for the praise, and that's the people who came out to the golf outing, acts of kindness are always repaid. And although you don't do it for the praise to come, it's going to come. That's my friend Dara thanking me for coming out. I didn't do it for that reason, but that was her being appreciative. So no matter what you do, ladies, you're going to get the appropriate recognition going forward. A few more things before I wrap up. Hill Harper, he's on CSI, and he wrote a very good book called The Wealth Cure. Now this $100 bill is a powerful, powerful piece of currency. And the reality is that there's nothing wrong with it, but I think there's a very good thought you guys should take as we talk about it. In Hill's book, he talks about advice for avoiding predicaments that pile up when we obsess over material gain. Now, ironically, Ben Franklin's on a $100 bill, but he was quoted as saying this: money never made a man happy yet, nor will it. The more a man has, the more he wants. Instead of filling a vacuum, it makes one. So the reality is, I want you ladies to think about this, and this is talked about. What are 10 things that are important to you that don't require money? Now we can talk about our faith, our family, our health, those are gifts. But what are 10 things that are important to you that don't require money? I can easily say one thing that's important to me is be able to connect with people who I need to connect with. For example, the NBA and NFL athletes in my book, I didn't have any connections with them. But I was committed, and it worked out, and I had trouble calling on the phone to do the interviews, and it turned out great. Also, being able to make a connection with anyone I meet. Coach Parcels, I know he's that kind of guy too, but being able to make that connection. So I want you to